Let's talk about politics for a second. Welcome to the Shikama Live Show with your host, Shikama. Politics. Hillary Clinton from my information, has brain cancer. Serious, debilitating disease. There's also a rumor that she is an alcoholic, and that when she took a break from one of the debates, she went to go drink, and that is what took so long. I said, from my information, that she will not take the presidency, regardless if everybody goes crazy and votes for her, that she will not take the presidency, or she will step down, or it's going to be some sort of fiasco where she does not end up being president. Okay. You have in the polls now Bernie Sanders, who is a socialist, an avowed socialist, a proud socialist, which is not the American way. And he's leading in the polls right now. Now, I don't know if that means that he would beat out Hillary. And on the other side, you have Donald Trump. At the latest Zogby poll, you have him at 45%. You don't recover as an opposing candidate from somebody who has 45% before Big Tuesday. In the head-to-head polls, you know who was beating out Hillary? Hands down. Oh, I'm sure a lot of you are going to be shocked at this. Dr. Ben Carson. Head to head. If you were to vote today, who would you vote for? Dr. Ben Carson beat Hillary. Dr. Ben Carson, most trusted candidate, hands down, everybody in the entire thing, the whole kit and caboodle. Who do you trust the absolute most? I trust Dr. Ben Carson. He is like Trump. He says what's on his mind. That's the only similarity right there. But he says stuff that I agree with. He says stuff that I think is more American and humane. Now, after that poll, after those polls, and they did poll after poll after poll, head to head, he beat out Hillary, just hands down, all the time. They systematically took him out. He's not out. He's not down and out. He's not like the Pizza Hut guy. They haven't like fabricated some lie or got some floozy to come after him, because they can't, because he is literally like Catholic choir boy, so pristine. And of course, the media has now tainted any mention of Catholic, because that's what the media does. They destroy. They don't elevate. They don't educate. They destroy. So now if I say Catholic schoolboy, you're probably going to have some sort of weird image. Catholic schoolboy is the most innocent person ever. There you go. And the most trusted. You can trust a Catholic schoolboy. You could give a Catholic schoolboy $20 to go get you something, and he would come back with the change. That's Catholic schoolboy. Okay? Now that we've established that, they systematically took Dr. Carson out. We found this thing that said in 1975, he said pyramids were granaries. Have you watched the History Channel? Let's overlook for a second that they're talking about something that he said in 1975, and we have absolutely no context, because that's the only clip that I have is him saying that. But if you watch the History Channel, they said they did use the pyramids for granaries. American education is horrible, terrible. How many pyramids do you think are in Egypt? How many? Wild guess? 4? 20? 100? I'm talking about the word pyramid. 200? At the outside, 500? There are thousands of pyramids. Thousands. What can they do with pyramids? They can do anything they want with pyramids. And a lot of the huge pyramids are not sepulchres. They're not. There is not even a burial chamber in them. That's why the History Channel has the most successful series on the History Channel, talking exactly about pyramids and the mystery of the pyramids. Why is it a mystery? Because it is not a sepulcher. There is no burial chamber whatsoever in the Great Pyramids. None of them. And then people say, "Oh yes, there is. There's one, and it's one is at the top of the." And the History Channel shows you, and it goes into detail. Look, this is not a burial chamber. I don't know what this is, but it's not a burial chamber. We know burial chambers. We know everything about burial chambers. This is not a burial chamber. This is a room with the big block in the middle of it, not a burial chamber. The big block is a solid block. There is no inside to it. It's a solid block. And there's a shaft coming diagonally from the east, a shaft coming diagonally from the west, and it looks like there could have been electricity coming in through those shafts. And the top of the thing was pure gold. Ironically, it's now gone. We know where it went. Hitler took it. So if Dr. Carson said, believe the pyramids were for granaries, he's perfectly all right saying that. Now, let's get back to the real matter. He said that in 1975 or something crazy like that. And we have zero context of what he was even talking about. And the news media, of course, tells you what to think, because that's what the news media does. They tell you to think, oh, this guy's crazy. Look, he said pyramids were granaries. Well, pyramids are granaries. They're relying on your complete stupidity, your public education, which is not going to tell you, hey, there are thousands of pyramids in Egypt, in Northeast Africa, all the way up the Nile or down the Nile, depending on whose references you're using, because the Nile runs backwards. Did you know that? Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt are the exact opposite of what the Western world thinks lower and upper means. What do you think lower and upper means? Do you think Lower Egypt is in the south? Well, you're wrong. Lower Egypt is where the Nile actually lets out. Upper Egypt is where the Nile begins. Because the white man completely flipped the earth upside down to show Europe on top. But that's not how the earth is actually formed. The earth is formed with Africa on top. Did you know that? No, the media is relying on your complete ignorance of your own planet to make this black man, who's a certified genius, who did something nobody else in the history of mankind has ever been able to do. He is practically a magician as far as anybody else is concerned, even compared to other doctors, other surgeons. He is literally a wizard, but they're trying to make him look stupid. Why? Because you are too stupid to know the difference. They systematically took him out, and then they went after his trustworthiness. You didn't understand that whole, I could have gotten to West Point with a full ride in West Point. Well, the fact is he could have gotten into West Point with a full ride in West Point and never had to pay anything. He was the top ROTC guy in his entire state. And he did meet the general. And the general did say that, because then other people called in and said, hey, no, the general told me that the same exact thing. But they don't report this. They're not going to report that. That's going against their whole theory of he's untrustworthy and he lied. He lied. And you have people, I'm a veteran. He lied. You're an ignorant veteran. Being a veteran does not make you a genius. Let me repeat that. Being a veteran does not make you a genius. It doesn't make you a political genius. Obviously, it doesn't make you a media genius. Obviously, it does not make you a political analyst. The fact is that the general is known for telling people, come to West Point, you will get a free ride at West Point. You won't have to do anything. You have to simply sign on the dotted line. The general is known for saying that. People called in and said, he told me the same thing too. Yes, he did. Carson is not lying. He said the same exact thing to me. But the media didn't report those people. The media didn't go into detail that, yes, the general said that the general loved West Point. And the top ROTC guy that sat at his table with all of the congressional merit of the presidential, the Iron Cross purple, he sat at that table. And the general said, you need to come to West Point. And Carson said, no, I need to go be a doctor. But the media isn't going to tell you all that because they're not there to inform you of anything. I told you the court case down in Florida in the appeals court said the media has no duty to tell the truth. And also the FCC has zero authority to force the the media to tell the truth. And who was a part of that? Who was a party to that? Fox, CNN, NBC, CBS, ABC, Bloomberg. The media has no duty to tell the truth. They systematically took out Carson, and Carson was surrounded by okay people. They weren't yes men to Carson, they were yes men to somebody else. And this is why he broke up his top echelon and fired them. I know you think they quit. That's what the media said. That's what the media said. Let me repeat that. The media has no duty to tell the truth. None. And it is known that the media has been captured for probably a century now. What does captured mean? They obey somebody else, not the public. We put it in the Constitution that the media has all of these freedoms and that you can't go after the media. And what they thought was that this would be enough to make the media independent forever. That the media would never, ever be captured. Not that the media would never be captured, but the media would never be silenced. That you couldn't go after the media, and that if it did, that they would think that the courts would do the right thing and punish the people going after the media. But they pulled a fast one. They captured the media. They didn't go after them, they captured them. So now that the media has to answer to somebody else, including their own advertisers. You see, it costs money to print media, whether it's paper form or even online. It costs money for me to produce my videos. But I am funding this with my money and some advertising, but this is mostly mine. All the other people, somebody said, your production value is just so low. I'm doing this by myself. I'm funding this. I have to pay the light bills here. Nobody else is. They systematically took out Ben Carson. This is analysis. You want analysis? Here's analysis. They took out Ben Carson because he head-to-head stood shoulders above Hillary Clinton. And Bernie Sanders wasn't even a thought. And it blows my mind that black people are trying to support Bernie Sanders. Do you know who you're supporting? Hey, he was in the civil rights movement. He was in the civil rights movement for what exactly? Bernie Sanders is Jewish and a socialist. I need you to go research what that actually means insofar as black people are concerned. Why don't you go and Google civil rights Jews, civil rights socialists? I told you the other day that MLK was a socialist and MLK was bad for black people. How in the hell are you going to turn around and then support Bernie Sanders? Black people, you have no sense. No sense whatsoever. I don't get it. Don't you listen? Don't you pay attention? And then you have these old fools. Bernie Sanders marched with MLK. MLK was bad. At the end of his life, he regretted what he had done to black people. Bernie Sanders has never regretted it, relishes it, revels in it, is so proud of it. Come on, people. Anyway, Carson beats out Bernie Sanders, beats out Hillary Clinton. They took him out. Now, here's the real purpose of this video. If you've gotten this far, applaud yourself, because here's the real deal. I believe, based on information that I've received, that there will be no election, that Obama will declare martial law and take over as dictator. He won't say dictator, but he'll be dictator. For anybody paying attention, he'll be a dictator. It won't look like dictator, but he'll be a dictator. Trump, Sanders, Hillary, completely all wiped aside. Step aside. There will be an event, a series of events, and Obama will be declared a quote-unquote third term, but it won't be a third term. It'll just be a continuation of his second term indefinitely. And that's what I believe is actually going on with his whole Trump being at 45%. And everybody knows it. Why? Because they love Obama. This is why I don't understand black people are not paying attention. They love Obama because Obama gives them exactly what they want. Time and time again, what do you hear? All the Republicans gave in to Obama. The Republicans didn't give in to Obama. A lot of times, the Republicans actually give Obama exactly what he tells them to do because he gets his orders from on high, where everybody else on Capitol Hill gets their orders. Do you not understand the corruption and how devastating it is? Do you not understand that our government has been completely and utterly captured? There is no Democrat, there is no Republican. I predict there will be martial law declared and Obama will stay president. Trump completely wiped out the Republican Party. Carson was an anomaly. Carson was actually chosen by the people. People asked Carson to run. And they kept asking, and they kept asking, and they kept asking. So he ran. Carson was not supposed to be there. Carson is the fly in the ointment. Then they sicked the media after Carson to take him out. And they did a really good job. He's not completely out, but they did a really good job. He went from number 1 because he was beating Trump at one time to now he's like number 3 or number 4. Can he recover? Yes, if he gets some loyal people in his camp, in his party, on his team. I'm telling you, put your hopes in Carson. They're not going to let Rand Paul anywhere near the top. They're going to demonize Rand Paul out of existence. Carson and Rand Paul are almost the same person. I know that sounds strange to a lot of libertarian people, but you haven't been listening to Carson. Flat tax. Get out of the Middle East. You've been told the exact opposite, that Carson doesn't know what he's talking about. They tried to make him look like a fool in the debates. What do you mean? What do you mean a 5% tax? And he said, no, I never said 5% tax. I never said that. I said it's going to be closer to 15 or 16%. What does Rand Paul say? And people saying this will balance the budget indefinitely. A flat tax of 14.34% will balance the budget indefinitely, and you will never, ever have to borrow another penny. Carson said 15% or 16%. For those calculating, 15% is very close to 14.34%. Carson is the fly in the ointment. He's a soft-spoken, well-reasoned black man. People love black people. As much as they hate to admit it, they love black people and they trust black people. They cannot conceive of a black man deceiving them, although Obama is there. But Obama was selected from when he was a baby almost. Obama has been the greatest deception in American history. He is not even qualified constitutionally to even be in office. Trump finally got on board and said, oh, okay, yeah, he has a birthright, If you think that just because Trump is a billionaire, there are bigger billionaires. There are bigger billionaires. Mark my words, you heard it here first. Obama will declare martial law. And then I don't know what black people will do then. I think black people will still follow him. Black people, you have to have higher standards for yourselves. You want to be equal to other people? You have to have higher standards for yourselves. That means that you would hold Obama to a very, very high standard and you would scrutinize everything that he does. And Obama does not stand up to any scrutiny. None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. He doesn't stand up to any scrutiny, any sort of analysis. As soon as you start getting into financial books and cross-reference Obama and cross-reference the black community, Obama is the enemy. He is not your friend. Enemy. You have zero standards for yourselves. If Obama is your hero, you have zero standards for yourself. As soon as you get even a modicum of standards of, I will not do this if this happens, as soon as you start getting into that frame of mind of how you should live your life, Obama quickly becomes your enemy. He's put so many black businesses out of business. Let's just take a look at that. And let's back up from the black community. Let's look at the American community. Obama has destroyed the country. He has stepped on, stumped on, and burnt up the Constitution. This country is founded on the Constitution. If you don't like the Constitution, go to another country. It's as simple as that. And the Constitution is really simple. Everybody says, oh, that's an archaic document. What's archaic about you have a right to defend yourself even if it's against your own government? What's archaic about that? It's actually revolutionary. You're supposed to have certain freedoms. What's archaic about that? It's not archaic. Do you know that human history had, I'm in charge, my son's in charge, my grandson's in charge, and you cannot question it. And if you do, you're put in jail or put to death. That's archaic. You want progressive, which you say that you are as far as being a Democrat, and you say conservatives are ancient. It's super progressive to say that you have certain freedoms that not even the government can step on. Not even the government. Obama is the enemy of the United States. He proves it time and time again. He should have been impeached I don't know how many times. Daily he does impeachable offenses. But the Republicans and Democrats, quote unquote, the establishment, which actually has no party affiliation whatsoever, the establishment loves Obama. Bush still had some backbone, and they couldn't quite push Bush around. Obama is the messiah for big government. They're not going to let him go. And he happens to be half black, which means that it gives people pause to fully attack him. Well, I'm full black. I'm pure blood. I can attack him as much as I want to. And you can't call me racist. Doesn't work on me. He's destroyed the United States and proceeds to destroy what little vestiges of the United States is left. And black people are being used as pawns who then say, oh no, that's our brother. You can't attack him. That's our brother. You can't attack him. He's not your brother. Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show.